I've really enjoyed being here today. I mean, it's a beautiful day to be outside. I have very limited knowledge of peatland farming and soils and water tables. So it's been really great to actually learn about that while being in the habitat. I'm definitely a visual learner, so being able to see it as people talk about it is very helpful. From what we've seen today, I think it sounds really promising that there is scope for farming in these difficult systems, and we can diversify crops, maybe plant things that haven't historically planted in the UK and actually get them to grow. So yeah, it sounds really interesting, lots of different options. Some of the short rotation coppice for biomass and things sounds really promising. Lots of colleagues at Forest Research are looking into that from a kind of carbon point of view as well, so it sounds great.
For me today, one of the things that was really interesting is actually seeing the miscanthus in the field out here. Obviously it's a very different context to where I'm used to seeing the miscanthus. We're doing it on kind of dry land mineral soils, and it was quite interesting to see them on a kind of a very, very organic rich soil today. In my experience so far, we've not seen them be particularly happy when they get wet, but they seemed more than happy in the field out here today, which was very interesting to see. So I'll be following up with that, speaking to people and taking that forward. We're all working in a very, very similar space, everyone that's here on the project today, but we all work in very specific and individual niches. You've got people from forestry, you've got people working on the peatlands, you've got people like me, soil scientists working on mineral soils and carbon change. So it's quite interesting to see how all of those link together to the wider LUNZ project. I am often the person that goes out to the field and collects all the samples and runs all of those things from our side, but I think it's probably the most important part, because you don't want to lose and forget the reason that you're actually going out and collecting these samples, or the purpose of the science behind it. It's not so we can sit there in our labs or in our offices looking at the computer screens necessarily. It's that we can actually do something that benefits the environment. So I think it's helpful to go outside, touch grass and actually be in the environment sometimes. It's always a joy.
Well, welcome to Wicken, everybody. I'm guessing a lot of you have already been here before.
I work for the RSPB as a conservation scientist, and I currently work on a project called the Centre for Landscape Regeneration, which is with Cambridge University, across 3 landscapes, so the Fens, the Cairngorms and Cumbria, and I look at specifically land use change and the impacts of land use change on things like food production, greenhouse gas emissions and breeding birds. Field visits are really valuable. I mean, a lot of my work is sat behind a desk, and I do a lot of modelling and saying how polluticulture or wetland may impact these things, but nothing beats coming out and seeing it for yourself. Seeing a farm and then seeing what can be restored is a fantastic opportunity to see, a future vision in 50, 100 years, what the Fens may end up looking like. It's fantastic to see people working across different environments, and like this morning at Oxwillow, one of the key take-homes was there's a whole range of crops we can grow sort of in a different farming system, polluticulture-wise. So a bit of my research has looked at typha-based polluticulture, cattail and the fibre, and hasn't really touched on the food production side of things. So it was really interesting to see just how many crops, food-producing crops, we can actually grow in a polluticulture system with kind of wet peat that can provide food but also benefit the climate, reduce emissions.
My name is Fiona Imbali. I am a PhD student at the University of Leicester, and my PhD is on Earth observation data for farmers in the Fens area in the UK and in West Pokot, Kenya. When I started my PhD, I was very excited when I chose the Fens area to research on. I did a lot of reading to understand how Earth observation data really helped the farmers in the 70s to drain the pits for them to be able to enhance their agricultural processes. For me, I'm trying to understand where the balance is. So we want food security, but we also want to enhance climate resilience. So there's a lot of issues that are coming up, and the people who are supporting farming have their points to say why it's important to continue farming in the pits. And the people who are high on environmental issues are also speaking about how we can also enhance farming through agroforestry to just ensure that there's a balance between food security and also climate resilience and enhancing climate adaptation and mitigation. A key takeaway is farmers and researchers need to work together. Instead of researchers doing work on their own and then coming to implement, instead of engaging the farmers, is quite important. Another takeaway for me is the importance of going to the field to understand what has been done and what has not been done, because a lot of times our researchers do work in silos.
I think the way Fenland is managed these days is not sustainable, and that's widely recognised, including by those who work on the land. We have to find different solutions. Now, do we have the solutions ready to go? Well, no, I don't think we do. We have to try things and see what works, and we need to support those people, those progressive farmers and others who are actually trying things out, and to accept that some things will work out better than others, and to be able to support them in doing that, and then to learn lessons as well. Well, it was a great day, wasn't it? I enjoyed being out in the field. I always enjoy being outside, but it's the conversations you have with people who are doing the work on the ground. Nothing beats actually seeing it, and there's something quite special about actually having those discussions in situ about how we can manage land better. It's just really valuable.
It's just, you can see the roots. Great, yeah, and this structure, it's like we talk about the difference between chocolate cake and chocolate brownie. This soil type can very easily become chocolate brownie, thick, claggy, not much air in there, but this is just lovely.